What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. So as you can see behind me, I have a massive boat. It is a Grady White Freedom 325. I'm gonna spend the next few days on it, detailing it, dialing it in. It is a relatively new boat, so it doesn't need a whole lot of work done to it. It's had some damage in the past from a previous marina. Not gonna name names, but it got repaired. We've been waiting for a few months to get all that stuff taken care of. It's been a long time coming. You know, we scheduled this back in June. It's now October, and we're finally able to get to it because we had to wait on insurance and all that good stuff, but that's neither here nor there. It's just gonna get a simple wash, a simple decon wash on literally every square inch, and then I'm gonna follow that up with a at least a one-step polish because it is in good condition. It doesn't have like hardly any oxidation on it, so I'm not gonna have to worry about, you know, my pads getting clogged with all that dead paint and stuff like that, or gel coat rather. This vessel is gonna get protected with my most durable coating I offer, so that way whenever my client takes it out onto the water, he can just bring it back in and it's a breeze to wash it. So I'm gonna go ahead and get set up here, and then we're gonna start the wash process, and I'll walk you through everything and show you how it's done. So because I'm gonna be installing a ceramic coating later on, I want to strip everything that's contaminating the boat right now as much as possible before I go into my paint correction. So I'm using trusty old Dawn dish soap. It's not recommended for every wash, every maintenance, especially if you have the boat in a good condition with a sealant. But for this case, we want a full reset, so we're gonna use something, it's mildly aggressive if I'm being honest. It's not the most aggressive, but nonetheless, it does a really good job. So this is what we're gonna use. I'm all set up, but before I get started, I want to just do a quick walk around and kind of assess the situation. So there's definitely some light dust on the surface of this boat, which this isn't that big of a deal. That could easily be rinsed off. I don't even need to agitate that. And then, of course, all these water spots in the paint. Nothing too crazy, but I certainly want to get all that taken care of. That's where the polishing step is gonna come in. It's gonna remove any embedded contamination and light scratching. This anchor as well needs to be refined out, definitely polished out. These water spots will not be removed in the wash process at all. So I'm not gonna be able to see the true condition of the paint until I wash it and remove any dust and stuff that might be on the surface. But it looks like we're in for definitely some level of correction. There's definitely haziness. There's some lack of clarity that can be taken care of. And then stuff like these buffer trails or rotary marks, rotary trails. See how it gets all squirrely right there? That haze kind of bends. Somebody was definitely here with a rotary and did not finish out the gel coat after they buffed it down. There's probably some repairs done right here, if I had to guess. So we're at the back of the boat, and there's some rust on this ladder. Stuff like this will get taken care of with a special rust remover, and then we'll follow it up with a corrosion preventer. All right, so now I'm just gonna check out the rest of the boat, look at every compartment, make sure that we're good to go, but it's pretty straightforward. I'm gonna go ahead and pop all these open, remove this cover right here, see what's going on under there. We gotta get rid of all these water spots. This is completely unacceptable. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, there you go. All these water spots are completely unacceptable. We got some water spotting in the glass up here. We can definitely get these out. All up in here will get polished out. Got some crazy water spotting up in here. I mean, just the whole boat's covered in water spots. I don't know why I keep talking about it. One challenge that I'm gonna have though is trying to figure out how the heck to get up here, because this can hold like 200 something pounds, which I'm about 220, but I gotta figure out how to get up on this canopy because I'm gonna ceramic coat the whole thing too up here. So yeah, let me go ahead and break down the boat up here, check all the compartments so that way I can get in the compartments and also ceramic coat those. All right, so now that I've emptied every compartment and taken off every loose item off this boat, I'm gonna go ahead and do a pretty thorough rinse to remove all the loose dirt and as much caked on dirt as I can. And then I'll go in with the contact wash with my wash mitts and soap bucket with the wash mitt on the red extended pole. And that should be it for today. So let's go ahead and get to it. Also, I really don't want to spray into the speakers. Speakers are already relatively waterproof, So it's okay if they get wet, but I'm not gonna get in there and actually pressure wash in them. If they are dirty inside, I'll go in with like a microfiber towel and just kind of get in there the best I can. But I'll spray around them too. All right, so the prep is pretty much almost done. The boat is fully washed and dried, but there are a few touch-up things I gotta do. So a good example is the screw. See how it looks kind of rusty in there? And then there's water spots riddled all throughout the metal pieces like this. So I'm gonna go in with a rust stain remover and get all the rust out of there. And then I'm gonna do some last little final touches. And then she's ready to go into the polishing tomorrow. So yeah, I'll go ahead and bring you guys in close on the rust and show you how it's done. So I'm gonna be using Revival's rust stain remover. This guy's out of Pensacola, Florida, so only a few hours away from me. Hope I get to meet him one day, but anyway, super solid dude, Drake, you rock. I'm gonna use this paired with a bristle brush, soft bristle brush. I'd say more medium bristle brush. I'm gonna put a little dollop right there. And I'm gonna just dab and spread. And I'm just gonna work right here for now because you really do not want this stuff to dry. I mean, I could already see that it took away the water spots, but I'm gonna go in and agitate it on this screw. For stubborn rust, it does require a little bit of work, but I also wanna let this stuff sit for a little bit too, about 30 seconds to a minute. So that way it has time to work and really break down the rust and other grime that's in there. So while that's sitting, I'm just gonna brush it along the rest of the metal here. Then I'm just gonna get a microfiber towel. I'm gonna get up most of it. Just a quick once over so that way I'm not at risk of having this stuff dry on the surface. And I'll take a little corner of it, try to get in that screw hole the best I can. And the last step is I'm gonna flush it out with some water. I'm using a rinseless solution in this bottle. This is gonna help kind of neutralize this product. I'm not sure what the pH is, but I think it's pretty acidic. This kind of stuff is really gonna make or break the job, the final product on this boat. I mean, it's all these little accents that's gonna make a huge difference. Yeah, it's a night and day difference. I still have to get up in these little grooves right here, the vent, but yeah, this is really, really gonna make everything come together pretty nicely. All right guys, so I am finally on the interior of the boat. I'm gonna be working on all the non-textured surfaces. So like you got the textured surface where your feet go. So I'm gonna be polishing all the non-textured glossy surfaces, and that's where I'm gonna lay the ceramic coating. I'm not ceramic coating where you put your feet. So I'm using two machines. The first machine is gonna be my 3-inch cordless battery-powered polisher. This thing is a freaking workhorse. It's gonna save me a lot on time for all these like tight areas. And then I am also using, one sec, I gotta go get it, my 5-inch DA. This is going to be perfect for the interior because I don't have massive flat surfaces that I could use a 6-inch on. I mean, I could get away with a 6-inch on here, but then I'd have to be swapping backing plates too often, and it just would take up way too much time. And honestly, it'd be a lot more versatile in here and easy to work with. This is a much lighter machine too than my black Rupes gear-driven machine. So I'm still gonna use my Rupes yellow wool. This is gonna be a medium polishing pad. In this case, a medium cutting pad. And gel coat is super hard, so it's gonna finish out nicely. And I'm using a heavy cut compound as well. This stuff is finishing out super nice. There's no haze that's being left behind, and it's also not gonna, this combination is not gonna remove a lot of deep scratches either. So I'll pull you guys in close here. I'm gonna get started on the right section. I already did the left, my right. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and polish out this edge right here on this compartment, and I'm gonna use a 3-inch to do that. First things first, I'm gonna just wipe it down because it's got all these bugs and stuff in it, just from blowing around out here. I am using 2 different towels for wiping down the surface and then also buffing out the polish once I'm done polishing. Dadgummit, this thing just went to town on me. And you'll notice the machine moves back and forth a little bit because it's hitting this lip right here, and that's okay. You just let it do its thing because it oscillates as well. Oh my gosh, what a difference. Yeah, this is amazing. This is really turning out good. It is finally time to lay down some much deserved ceramic coating. So I've washed the boat, I've deconned it, polished it, did stainless steel restoration, the whole 9 yards. I actually have Kate, my girlfriend, in the interior cabin areas, cleaning that for me while I'm on the outside laying down some ceramic coating. And then by the time she's wrapped up with the interior, then it's time for me to move on to the interior. Quick overview. So on my end of things today, I'm gonna prep the surface real quick with an IPA solution and then just lay down the ceramic coating. So I'll pull you guys in close here in a second, show you how I do that, show you exactly what I use. Sorry for the background noise. They're laying asphalt out today, so bear with me if you don't mind. All right, so first order is prepping the surface. I wanna remove any polish residue and other contamination that might have settled on the surface. So I'm using 99.99% IPA, isopropyl alcohol, diluted 1-to-1 with DI water, spotless water, clean water, whatever you want to call it. And I'm just going to simply spray on the surface here, just a quick mist. Nothing too crazy, because I removed most of the polish during the polishing portion of this. But I just want to make sure that there's really nothing left, and this IPA solution is going to do a really good job at breaking down whatever crap is on the surface. So just a quick wipe, and I'm looking where I'm wiping to make sure I don't see any streaks in the reflection or anything like that. There's some polish splatter from when I was blowing the pads out, and I'll do sections at a time because this stuff will dry pretty quick. And then I'll just buff it out Make sure that that surface is completely bare and ready to accept its ceramic coating. It's looking good. I'm gonna go ahead and knock out this entire side. I'll probably do one side at a time because I don't want to prep the whole thing and then have dust settle again. So all right, so here's what I'm using for the ceramic coating install. Right off the rip, my ceramic coating, I'm using System X Max G Plus. This stuff is amazing. It's awesome. Okay, a product saver applicator. It has a plastic lining in it so it doesn't soak, so the ceramic coating doesn't soak into the sponge and waste product. That way the ceramic coating just sits right on the surface and lays nice and evenly on the surface. I'm using a 2-towel leveling method, so a low pile towel and then a high pile. I have 2 towels here on the table because it's I go through them pretty quick and I always keep one on deck. And then tape. So I'm gonna use tape to subtly mark off the sections that I'm working because it's really easy to get lost in a huge surface like this because I'm only working in like 3x2 sections. Gel coat is a little bit more finicky from automotive clear coat from what I found when it comes to leveling ceramic coating, so it can get pretty tricky. Also the condition, like it's cold out here and everything else takes into play here, so I'm not going to bore you with the details, but let me go ahead and get set up here and then I'll show you how I apply it. So I'm going to break off 3 small pieces. I should have done this before I put the freaking gloves on, but that's okay. 3 small pieces. They're just going to be little tabs like this. So I'm going to mark off like a 3-foot section here, so that way I know that from this tape line to the edge of the boat over here, the back of the boat right here, I'm gonna be working in this section. And I said 3 pieces because I'm gonna have another piece like right here when I move forward. And then I'll just keep leapfrogging. I'll keep leapfrogging the tape underneath the boat over and over. And then the 3rd piece of tape, so the midsection, I'm gonna take a vertical line and right about halfway, I'm gonna lay the 3rd piece of tape just on the outside of that line. I'm not gonna press it on and smear it on because I don't want that adhesive to stick to the gel coat, although this is automotive tape, it has very low adhesive. I'm just gonna lightly tap it right there, that's enough to stick. I'm gonna go ahead and break off my 3rd piece. I'm not gonna be using it for this back section right now, but I'm gonna break it off for when I am ready to use it. I'm just gonna stick that bad boy right there for the time being. And yeah, so now I have 2 sections to work with. I have this vertical line right here to the right and this horizontal line splitting the 2 sections in half, if that makes sense. So I'm gonna work 1 section here, 1 section here. I'll show you what that looks like. Get my product. This is a very big bottle of ceramic coating. So I'm gonna go ahead and prime the pad on here. It's gonna load up the towels. It's gonna make my life so much fun. Not really. But I'm just gonna do 2 little dollops right here, big dollops for this bottle of coating, to be honest. And then I'm gonna take it and then just do some circles real quick to spread that product across the pad. And I'm gonna do kind of like a drip line through the middle, and then an X, and then an outline of the border where I'm laying. And I'm just gonna start working in little sections like this in the big section. And then I'm going to get around these metal outlets a little bit. And then make sure I got a nice even coat. No missed spots. I'll show you what the coating looks like while it's on the surface. So you can see that little bit of haziness right there. And this stuff flashes pretty quick. It's already sweating. That's the visual cue that it's flashed. It's called sweating. Other coatings are different on how they flash to the surface. And then I'm just gonna level it off first pretty quickly with my low pile towel. So there's still coating on the surface, you know, working itself in. but I definitely want to be very thorough with this. And you could already feel it is so slick. And then I'm going to take my higher pile towel, a little bit more plush of a towel, and soak up the rest of that coating and really level it out. But holy smokes, dude, this stuff is slick. I'm really, really impressed by how well this ceramic coating works on gel coated surfaces. And because gel coat is so porous, you definitely want to use a lot more product when you're applying it because you want it to really seep in. That's something I've noticed when applying it to boats versus vehicles. All right, so I'm gonna get down level with the surface that I just coated, and I'm gonna use like the sky and background reflections to look for any high spots. And I don't see any high spots. I'll show you what high spots look like in a second here. And what to watch out for if you want to do this to your own boat. But high spots, they're not terrible, they're just ugly. And if you do get a high spot and the high spot cures to the surface and you can't wipe it off, you have to polish it off, which is a pain. All right, so here's what I meant by that leapfrog method with the tape. So I just finished this section right here. I'm just gonna take the rearmost tape and then leapfrog it past this tape and then mark off about a 3-foot section, hang it right there, and then I will take the horizontal marker and then vertical line just to the, well, front of it. And then I now have 2 sections to work on. So one way a high spot can happen, or well, there's 2 ways. Either I've straight up missed leveling it out, or if it's still wet over here, I could push product outward into an area that I am not necessarily working in and either have worked in or have yet to work in. But if I push product out and cause a high spot, it's most likely going into an area I haven't worked or I have worked in, because when I push it into an area I have not worked in yet, then I'm gonna go back over it and I will most likely hit it again, if that makes sense. But right here, I have not wiped it off or leveled it out rather. So I'm gonna let this cure a little bit longer and I'll show you what it looks like. I'll show you what the high spot looks like, but I won't leave it too long to where I just can't wipe it off. All right, so right above that tape line right there, you can see the high spot. It is pretty hard to notice. It looks like it's just probably like a ripple in the gel coat, but it's there for sure. Well, pretty much almost done. Wrapped up with the entire boat, ceramic coated every square inch. She is looking real shiny, way better than we started. However, there are a few things I have to button up. On Monday, so today's Monday, a week from today, the ground is very filthy for me just being inside, working on it, all that good stuff. I don't need to show you anything too crazy in depth because this is pretty much the worst of it. So the coating has to cure for 7 days before I can wash it again, just to get the full like longevity out of the coating. And then Atlantic Marine is gonna bring it to the marina where it's dry docked, and it's gonna sit for a week, and then I'm just gonna wash the whole thing again. It should take about half a day, and that'll be the final straw for this boat. So I will bring you guys back Monday and we'll wash it, nothing too crazy, and then I'll show you what it looks like when it's done. There are a few more touch-up things that I'd like to do, like maybe polish the glass a little bit more and then re-ceramic coat it, but other than that, I'm really happy with the way this boat turned out. So see y'all in a bit. So on the last day, I did aggressively polish all the glass, thinking that would get rid of the water spot etching, but unfortunately it did not. I was able to achieve pretty good results. I still ceramic coated the glass, but unfortunately they needed to be wet sanded to achieve perfection, which was not included in this service.